Hi guys, welcome to our channel. For today, we are going to be talking about something that you have seen in all our videos, which is languages. So
Yeah, if you haven't already subscribed and liked our video, you should do that right now. Do it quick. And on to the topic that we're excited. This is a new kind of format we're trying, so if you also do have feedback, let us know. If we should do more, if you have any other comments about this topic from your personal experience, we will be reading and commenting back, and if there's enough good information, we might even make a little summary review thing after this as well. But on to the topic about languages, specifically. I am a white Canadian boy. My wife is
Islander.
Filipina. She speaks Tagalog, English, Spanish, and Ilocano is her family language. And I speak Spanish and English and a little bit of French. So we want our daughter to be able to involve herself in both cultures.
Mm-hmm.
How are we doing that?
So, for me, well, first of all, we want to answer the why. People are always so amazed that my daughter can understand Ilocano, in parks. When there's Filipinos around, they're like, "Oh my gosh, she speaks Ilocano," and I was like, why not? I'm Filipino. Why can't I not speak to my kids? First of all, it's important for us because I want to create that inclusion with my kids. I want them to be able to communicate the people back home in the Philippines when we take them back home. I want to create that inclusion because when we get together with my family here, even here in Canada, we speak majority of it is Ilocano. And so we want to include them, so when we are gathering together, they understand what is going on and that they understand the things happening around them. And so that's the main reason for them to be able to understand Ilocano and know Ilocanos, to create that inclusion, be part of the culture, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. For myself, why I think it's important. Yes, the connection piece is very important, but intellectually, people that knew multiple languages, it's good for them mentally. There was one study that was people that had to speak a second language when they were really old, even if they had Alzheimer's, they didn't show symptoms of it, so they didn't have any memory loss and things like that were being displayed. So just knowing multiple languages is very healthy for your brain and your health. It also just allows you to connect with more people. So if there's no work in one country, you can just go to a different country where they speak a different language. And lots of places value that in the workplace as well. Just that branching and be able to talk to other people. So yeah, I think it has a lot. It's just good for your kids in many aspects.
Yeah, because for us, John had mentioned earlier, how the moment you have one language under your belt, it's easier to adopt to learning another language. And because for me, when I went and learned Spanish, my Tagalog helped me advance my vocabulary skills and just my ability to talk and communicate, because already my brain is working with that. So that's definitely something that is a benefit for someone to learn another language and create communication skills. Like I said, to be able to go back home, it's easy. Yes, cause what we do when we gather together, I translate what is happening to John, and we wanted to create that connection without translating, because when you translate some stuff, something gets lost, and so it's better directly for them to be able to understand, so that it's not necessarily that they need someone to translate for them. Yeah, so that is some of the keys that we why we speak Ilocano for them. And then some of the reason, some of the things that we do to incorporate that is that I try to I'm not perfect. I try to speak to her majority of the time in Ilocano, and John tried to help that by like some of the words that he understands, implement that, and it's like, okay, what is it? What is that word in Ilocano? And majority
I
of
never
the
do it the other way around.
yeah.
She'll say words in Ilocano for me, and I'm like, yes, that's in Ilocano. I don't know that very well. That's what Mama will say. What will Daddy say? And then she
Yeah,
sometimes knows it, sometimes doesn't.
Yeah, so she's still transitioning to that. And so yeah, like it creates, we then listen. It's not just Ilocano though that I'm trying to teach her. I also try to teach her Tagalog. There's some words when I'm talking to her I use Tagalog, which is I listen. We listen to. There's a time during the day that we listen to Tagalog, or we watch Tagalog's kids stories, and then we have some books at home that are Tagalog, and sometimes the books that we have tons of books, and because of pandemic we haven't been able to go to the library, and we've read the book a million times, and so sometimes I would translate it as I'm reading that story in Tagalog or Ilocano. And so those are some of the 4 things that I do mainly, but majority of the things that I'm trying to include for them to learn is to just to talk, and getting my whole entire family on board with this idea for them to be able to speak Ilocano, because it takes a village to raise them. And so we have to talk to my family that we want them to be able to understand Ilocano and be able to speak one day fluently. And so my family are part of it, a great part of it, especially now that they are growing up, and it's so easy to just slip in there, to continue speaking in English. And so when I hear that they're speaking in English, then I'm like, Ilocano! I'm kind of like a Nazi. Talking to them in Ilocano only. But John, like, because we have heard millions of times that they will get confused. What is your theory about? Because then people are like, oh, why are you speaking your kids in Ilocano? They'll get confused. What's your response to that?
I have a response. I'm gonna take a break. Someone's up.
We have a guest.
Sorry.
Be my guest to that test.
Hopefully she won't be too loud. So your question was,
when people ask and say we don't teach our kids because they will get confused when they go back to school, what is your response to that?
I don't think that's a valid argument at all. Any studies or any actual experience that I had with people, that's not the case. The kids, whatever language that they're in the culture of, like in the country of, they will always pick that up very quickly. Even kids that immigrate, like when you moved here, you didn't know English. She speaks English pretty good for the most part, so she can.
He still bullies me sometimes.
But like when they're growing up in that culture, they'll learn that just from their environment. They won't learn whatever language that you have at home. So, and I feel like I've talked to certain people where the parents have tried to like whitewash the kid, and I feel like it's not really effective for the kid. It's more for the parents to get the language under wraps more. But I think the kids actually benefit greatly from having the other languages.
Talk about Becky's, what she found out.
Yeah, so my sister is actually doing this approach as well. She is white, but she really wanted to teach her kid French to kind of give her a leap up in other things in that aspect. And she is very studious, so she researched a few things. And when they do look at like learning languages and everything for kids, it's a word count is usually to go by to see if there's any kind of learning delay or anything. And what they found is that the number of words that a kid has, if they have one language, and say it's supposed to be 6,000, they'll have 6,000 at one language. If they're learning 2 languages, what normally happens is the word count is kind of split between both of those languages. So they're still at the same level, 6,000 words. They'll just have 3,000 in the different languages. But again, like, they'll catch up without a problem. There's never been a case. I've actually found when I was in French immersion, you learn language structure better knowing other languages. Like, you learn what verbs are and words are and sentence structure and ordering better knowing other languages, because you actually have to think about it. It's not just like, oh, that sounds good. So even in your own language, I feel like it strengthens your ability. There's just really no downside to it from anything that I've looked at and researched. And anybody that uses that argument that it confuses the child, it doesn't. It confuses them, and it's not a good argument. Then you can just kind of invalidate it.
So what we have learned so far from our journey of learning Ilocano, teaching them Ilocano, is that the most important part is that just being on the same page as a couple and the people around you. Because for me, like, even my friends, when they speak when I know that they speak Ilocano, I would ask them, like, when you're around my kids, can you please just speak Ilocano? And I think that's just a key for them to learn a language, because we are in a country that means English is the most spoken language, and so it takes every effort for us to be able for them to speak the Ilocano. And we are not saying that it is impossible to do that when you don't have a lot of support, but I think it's just that extra effort that you do will make it count at the very end. And later on in their life, they will appreciate it. And I know that they will use it for the benefits. It'll be for their benefits in the long run. And I hope that you have learned something from us. Comment below if you did or did not. And share with us if you are teaching your kids Ilocano or Tagalog or whatever language you're teaching. And some strategies maybe that you've used that we could probably apply with our kids, because we're not perfect. Like, we are still learning and growing, but we just wanted to share that with you guys. And I hope you'll learn from us, and make sure to comment below, subscribe, and like this video, and we'll see you next time.